All right, let's jump right in. We are about to pull back the curtain on a massive $90 billion global industry, one you're a part of every single week, even if you've never really seen it.
I mean, have you ever stopped to really think about it? You're in the grocery store, you see a perfect bunch of bananas from, say, Ecuador, or these amazing red strawberries in the dead of winter, and you just put them in your cart. How in the world does that happen?
Well, it's all thanks to this hidden world, a high-speed supply chain that's basically in a constant race against the clock. And I mean a real race, because their product, it's literally dying from the second it gets picked. So, to really get what this race is all about, you've got to understand the epic scale we're talking about here. It's just a mind-boggling amount of food. Get this. Over 1 billion metric tons. That's how much fruit and veg is harvested for us to eat around the world every single year. 1 billion tons. To put that into perspective, that's like weighing over 200 million elephants. Just imagine trying to move all of that perishable food from the farm to your fork. It's a monumental task, to say the least. So, who are the heroes, or maybe the unsung heroes of this incredible journey? Well, let's meet the main character of our story, the fresh produce wholesaler. Think of these guys as the logistical wizards in the middle of it all. They're the ones buying up huge quantities from growers all over the world, and then somehow getting it all to your local supermarket, your favorite restaurant, or even a school cafeteria. They are that absolutely critical and, yeah, often totally invisible link in the chain. And what are they moving, exactly? Well, you can see here. Over half of their business is in fresh fruits. Vegetables make up another big chunk, about a third. And that smaller slice for prepackaged stuff, that's definitely a growing market. But the bulk of their work, day in and day out, is moving whole, fresh produce. And make no mistake, this is a truly global game. You've got major players headquartered all over the planet. We're talking the US, Canada, Ireland, Japan, Australia, you name it. They're all working to coordinate this insane flow of food across entire continents and oceans. Okay, so let's talk about the challenges, because this is not an easy business. For a wholesaler, every single day is like running a gauntlet. It's a race against spoilage, and the track is just littered with obstacles. The whole industry is kind of getting squeezed from two sides, right? On one hand, you have these unpredictable operational costs. Think fuel prices that can just spike out of nowhere. But on the other hand, you've got this huge strategic threat, the risk of being cut out of the supply chain completely. And these pressures are coming from everywhere. I mean, supply chains are still feeling the after effects of the pandemic. Fuel costs are a constant headache. Finding enough workers is a huge struggle. And maybe the biggest threat of all? Their largest customers, we're talking about the giant supermarket chains, are trying to cut them out of the loop and deal directly with the growers. So what's the takeaway here? It means they have to prove their value every single day. As one CEO put it, to survive, you have to offer competitive pricing, specialty products, and just plain fast, reliable service. If you can't do that, you risk getting cut out. You become obsolete. But here's the thing. Faced with all this intense pressure, the industry isn't just sitting back and taking it. No way. They're adapting. They're innovating. They're finding ways to stay ahead in this race. So how exactly do they compete? How do they fight back when they're being squeezed like that? Well, they're getting smarter. It's not just about working harder. It's about working smarter, finding new avenues for growth, and really leaning into technology. And there's basically a playbook for growth emerging. It comes down to 3 key things. First, capitalizing on the huge rise of organics. Second, investing in green technology. And third, implementing massive operational improvements to get more efficient. Let's take organics, for instance. Demand is just exploding, right? And what's the #1 top-selling organic category out there? You guessed it, fresh fruits and vegetables. This isn't some tiny niche market anymore. For these wholesalers, this is a massive opportunity for growth and for better profit margins, which they desperately need. And on the technology side, this is where it gets really cool. One industry CIO talked about outfitting containers with things like standardized barcodes and RFID chips. Just think of them as tiny, super smart trackers for food. We're not just talking about scanning a box anymore. This lets a company see exactly where a shipment of berries from Chile is at any given moment. And not just where it is, but they can monitor its temperature in real time. This kind of data is a game changer. It cuts down on waste and boosts reliability, and in this business, reliability is everything. Okay, so after all of that, this incredible global logistical dance, what's the bottom line? What's the reward? Let's look at the financials. Because this is where the pressure becomes crystal clear.
About 10%. That's the average gross margin. Let that sink in. For every single dollar of produce they sell, they make about a dime in gross profit. And that's before paying for all the warehouses, the trucks, the salaries, all of it. This is exactly why efficiency is life or death. Any unexpected cost, like a sudden spike in fuel prices, can completely wipe out their profit. It's the definition of a high-volume, low-margin business. And these two numbers right here, they tell an absolutely wild story. Look at the inventory turnover. They sell and replace their entire inventory every 17 days. That is lightning fast. But now look at the other side of the coin, how long it takes to get paid. 38 days. They have to wait over a month to get the cash for the stuff they sold. So think about that rhythm. They're constantly paying for new food before they've even been paid for the last batch they sold. They're basically floating a huge amount of cash at all times.
So the bottom line is, the speed is just dizzying. They operate on this razor-thin margin where every single second and every single cent truly counts. In this business, being efficient isn't just a nice goal to have. It's literally the only way to survive.
So the next time you're in the produce aisle and you pick up an apple or a carton of blueberries, just pause for a second. Think about that incredible high-stakes journey, that race against time that brought it all the way to your hand. What part of this hidden world will you see now? Will it be the technology, the insane logistics, the financial risk? It's all right there, hidden in plain sight.